This is Calm AF, a podcast for humans who are hard on themselves. A podcast for the overthinkers, people pleasers, perfectionists, and overachievers. I'm Kristen Finch, and I'm going to teach you how to quiet that incessant negative chatter in your head. Because you know what a person with a calm mind can do? Anything they want. Grab your coffee, gorgeous soul, because today's the day you get Calm AF. Hello. Welcome back to Calm AF. Today we're going to dive into a topic that I know you have experience with. The topic is overthinking. If you find yourself getting stuck in your head, getting stuck in, I just need to think a little bit longer and then I can decide what to do. Then I can make a decision. Then I can solve this problem. This episode is for you. And overthinking is one of these actions. I tend to get kind of not in fights. I never would fight with anyone, but I tend to get people who really want to argue with me. Oh, no. It's better. Like the more I think about something, the better. And I was like, let me just stop you there. It's not true. More thinking is not creating clarity for you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I just had a situation come up that I'm like, oh, this is the perfect example of what overthinking can actually cost you. So a few years ago, I want to say it was like close to 5 years ago now, because it was like either right at the beginning of the pandemic or right before, I had a woman reach out to me. She was a referral from another one of my clients. They were colleagues. And when she came to me, and, the referral had talked to her about what we had worked on. And I think we just both knew right from the beginning, this is a really good match, right? Like she was my perfect kind of client. She was a perfectionist. She was a people pleaser. She was an overachiever, a high performer, like check, checking all the boxes, but was like not enjoying any of it, right? From the outside, it all looked like a success, like she had created the life that she always wanted to, but on the inside, she was just ready, just bracing herself for the moment it was all going to fall apart. The other shoe's going to drop, the rug's going to be pulled out from under me. And her perfectionism made her feel responsible for everything and everyone around her. Right? Her mind was constantly working, constantly analyzing, constantly planning for what could go wrong, what might go wrong, what has gone wrong. Overthinking was her superpower, for sure, like in a way, but it was also her like Achilles heel. The other reason why she came to me was because she was she had really got a lot of success. She was very well known in her industry and she was ready to do something a little bit different. But there were a couple of problems. First of all, she couldn't find the time, right? She was spending so much time in her head and trying to control all of the things for her current career that she was in that she just didn't have the time. And she was also like, the other piece is like, if I created all of this is what I thought I wanted, and I'm not happy. How do I know that that's going to be the thing that makes me happy? And I was like, that's very insightful. It's not, right? You're going to do the same thing there that you have done in your current career. You're going to try and do this new thing, but you're going to be doing it from the same nervous system dysregulation. So you're going to create the same issues. All the reasons why you don't like what you're doing now, you're going to be successful, but you're not going to be able to enjoy it again. So in the conversation we had, it was clear we were a great fit. And so she was like, yes, I'm ready. Let's get started. And so I said, yeah, tomorrow I will send you all the information. I'll send you the invoice. We'll get schedules. And I said, now, here's the thing that's going to happen between now and tomorrow. When I send you all this, your brain right now in this moment is telling you this is the right decision. Right now you feel very clear and confident and you're excited to get out of this old pattern. You think I'm the right coach. You think now's the right time. But between now and tomorrow, when I send you that email, something's going to happen. Something is going to happen. Your excitement, your clarity, your confidence is going to be hijacked by a different emotion. And that emotion is fear. And when that fear shows up, it's going to signal your nervous system to, do what it always does when it's presented with something that is a risk. It's going to tell you to overthink it. It's going to say, let's come up with all the reasons why it might not be the right time, why she might not be my right coach. It might not be the right decision, right? And your nervous system is going to try and answer these questions by overthinking. So what I told her was between now and tomorrow, that's what's going to happen. And here's what you need to do instead. I'm going to help you think using your higher level thinking. I'm going to help you think using your neocortex, your frontal lobe, because you do need to think, right? This is an investment. You do need to make sure that you are ready and you are wanting this, and that, the investment of money, time, all of that actually works. You do need to think, but we don't want you getting into overthinking, right? That's going to keep you in the same exact stuckness that you're in right now. So that's what I shared with her. And I'll tell you kind of what I shared with her, which is that difference between thinking and overthinking. Because thinking really is a great way to use your smart brain. When you are able to access your frontal lobe and you can access your abstract reasoning and your problem-solving part of your brain, that's a great and effective and efficient way to make decisions and solve problems. But overthinking isn't that. Overthinking isn't creating action. Even though it feels like you're actually doing something, it's one of those sneaky little habits that feels productive, but it isn't. Right? It's just masquerading as you're preparing or you're analyzing or you're going through all the pros and the cons. You're really planning it out. But in reality, you're not. You're just coming up with more confusion. Right? If you've ever replayed the same scenario in your head or made that pros and cons list and you just can't stop coming up with, well, what about this? Well, what about that? But then there's this, but then there's that. If you can't seem to take the next step, or you think you can't actually make a decision until your brain believes it has thought of everything, the frustration of overthinking, right? How does it show up? In those scenario loops where you're replaying conversations that you've had over and over, what you could have said different, what you could have done different, what they could have done. Or maybe it's not even conversations you've had, ones you haven't had yet. Right? How many times have you stood in the shower having imaginary conversations that may or may not happen? Right? All this is it's you trying to predict every possible outcome, what could go wrong, so that you don't have to feel uncomfortable. So you don't have to take a risk of making a mistake or failing or something going wrong. So that's one way it shows up. It shows up by paralysis. Right? Where you literally get stuck in indecision, where you can't make a decision because you have to wait for the right moment. You have to wait until you have thought of everything, and there is no moment when that happens. And then there's just the exhaustion, right? Repeatedly revisiting decisions you've already made, or questioning whether things that you have done or will do will be right or wrong, and how exhausted you are. Right? That is because it's exhausting. What you are doing is spinning your wheels and you are going 100 miles an hour, but you aren't actually moving. You're expending all this energy, but it's not actually creating momentum. It's draining you. So why does this happen? Why do we overthink? Especially my clients, my high performer, high achiever people. It's very smart. My clients are very smart, right? Why does it happen? Because you have a dysregulated nervous system, right? When my client, my potential future client that I talked about, when she was going to go off and rely on her own brain to make a decision, I was like, here is what's going to happen, because you're going to feel the risk show up. You're going to feel the fear, and your brain's going to shift into that protective mode. And it's going to want to analyze things. and it's doing it to avoid failure or discomfort. And again, I think the reason why I kind of butt heads with people over this is that it seems logical. Preparation is good, right? If I think about all the things that could go wrong, that's a good thing, right? Here's the problem. The more you think, the more options you come up with, and the harder it becomes to move forward. So your trajectory is think, do something, and then see what happened, analyze it, and then move on. Or actually, you take the action and then you go back, think. The other option here from a regulated nervous system, one that you can feel the discomfort. You don't have to run away from the fear. You can just have the fear with you and take action. That trajectory is think, make a decision, take some action, analyze it, and then go forward from there, right? That is productive. Overthinking is not productive. You aren't actually moving forward. You're spinning in place. So with overthinking, you don't go to clarity, you end up with confusion. And this isn't about intelligence or capability, right? It's not a thing that's wrong with your brain if you're an overthinker, it's survival. Your brain and your body are trying to protect you from perceived danger because, why? If you are a high performer, if you're a perfectionist, a people pleaser, it's very likely that that was what you were known for, right? If you are someone who was known for being able to handle difficult situations, you're good at managing complex problems, solving challenges, you are more likely to fall into the trap of overthinking. Because overthinking, as a smart person who can solve problems, it feels like an extension of your strengths, right? When you have spent your life relying on your intellect, and other people have spent your life relying on your intellect in order to solve problems, get through challenges, and it served you well, it feels like overthinking is just an extension of that. If thinking is good, then overthinking must be even better. But when the stakes are high, which they are in high performance lives, the habit of overthinking ends up being like a liability instead of an asset, right? So then perfectionists and people pleasers and high achievers, those who thrive on structure, are vulnerable to overthinking because the higher the stakes, the more tempting it becomes to rely on overthinking so that you don't have to worry about failing, right? Who am I if I'm not succeeding? Who am I if I'm not the one that everyone comes to for the answers? But I can't give people the wrong answers, right? So dysregulation, you think you're doing something with this overthinking, you're not, right? Because what's it costing you? Not only that momentum, lost momentum, like I said, instead of like think, try something, right? That momentum, there is no momentum when you're just sitting and thinking about something. Momentum is created when you take action so that you learn from the action so that you can try the next thing. So you lose momentum, you lose energy, obviously, right? Overthinking drains your mental clarity. It drains your focus. But one of the biggest things that I see with my clients that it costs them is their confidence, right? It creates this fragile confidence. They're like, oh no, I'm really good. I'm at the top of my industry. I'm at the top of my field. I am the go-to person. But then your nervous system is like, oh, but you can't trust yourself. You have to keep thinking for like 73 hours. That's not trusting yourself. That's just reinforcing self-doubt, right? So you see the irony here. Overthinking, which is what your nervous system does, it's the behavior that it takes on because it thinks this is how I'm going to stay safe. It's actually robbing you of the clarity and the confidence and the action that you need to thrive, to actually be able to enjoy this success that you've created, right? So breaking free from overthinking is not just a thing you can white knuckle yourself through. When you find yourself stuck in a thought loop or a thought spin out, the last thing that's going to work is for you to try and just be like, stop overthinking, just make a decision. Nope, because you are adding more dysregulation on top of dysregulation. You have to address the root cause, the dysregulation. So step one in shifting out of overthinking into aligned action is to regulate your nervous system. What's our motto around these parts? Nervous system first. You cannot stop overthinking from a dysregulated nervous system. Okay, so you need to pause, you need to ground yourself, take your deep breaths, move your body, whatever it is that you do in order to regulate your nervous system. If you don't know what this is, if you don't know what your triggers are, and you don't know how to bring yourself out of it without white knuckling or numbing out or shutting down, then you really need to check out my nervous system course. It's either Regulated is just the course, or Mastering Calm AF is the course with my individualized support. You need to start there, because if you don't know how to do that, then you're not going to be able to take the next step, which is to take action, right? The antidote to overthinking is action, but not just any action. We need to take aligned action from a regulated nervous system state. So when you're sitting there and you have been staring at this email for like 3 days and you're writing it and rewriting it and rewording it and all the things, the next thing to do to break the overthinking is to regulate your nervous system and then send the email. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to make the phone call, to write the first sentence, whatever the very first most logical thing you could do, the first aligned action, you just take that action. That is what takes you out of the overthinking loop. You don't need the entire plan. That's where your nervous system tries to fool you. You're not ready. You don't know every step. You just need the first step. And then momentum will help you move forward. So why does this matter so much? Well, it's not just an annoying habit, overthinking. It is the thing that's keeping you from your success, from how you want to feel. It's keeping you from your happiness. It keeps you stuck in indecision. It drains your energy. But it's a learned pattern, okay? And like any pattern, it can be unlearned. You can learn to trust yourself and not spin out. You can learn how to make decisions with ease, okay? That's what my clients experience. It's not about working harder. It's not about thinking more. It's about trusting yourself. It's about getting yourself regulated so you can access that smart brain of yours that already knows what to do. You can move past the fear. The fear is going to be there, but this regulating your nervous system is going to be the thing that allows you to move past that, take the action, and then keep going. Okay? It's costing you a lot, overthinking. Back to the woman that I was talking about at the beginning, the woman who reached out, right? I warned her about that overthinking. I warned her. I said, this is what's going to happen. So think about it. I'll reach out tomorrow. Guess what? She overthought it. She overthought it for so long that I forgot about her. I forgot all about her. Like a year later, maybe, I got an email and she was like, hey, it's me. I know I kind of disappeared, but like, I obviously wasn't ready, but things have changed. I'm ready now. And I was like, cool. Just so you know, it cost more now. She's like, it's fine. No problem. Okay. So I know that you think you're not going to do it again. You're not going to overthink again, but you still have the same nervous system today that you had a year ago. And in fact, you have spent a whole year further hardwiring your overthinking pattern. So don't think that you're going to do something different this time without being intentional about it. You can do something different, but you're going to need to be intentional. You're going to need to recognize that overthinking is going to show up again. She's like, got it. And guess what? She did it again. She did it again for so long that the next time she reached out, I was like, why do I recognize this name? I know have I worked with this person? Oh, yeah. So, I emailed her back. She's like, I am ready. I'm so sorry. There was so many things that happened. I had a health emergency, and I get it. I get it. I will never, ever try and convince someone, right, that if it's not the right time, it's not the right time. But she came back and she was like, it's the right time now. And I was like, that's great. And listen, my rates are double what they were the first time you reached out to me, double what you were at before. And so she was like, oh, okay. And I said, I'm like, okay, so right now in this instant, your nervous system is moved into a dysregulated state because the risk seems higher. You came in saying, oh no, now I'm ready. And you had an idea about, what are the things that kind of shut me down the last time you think you solved from, but now there's this other variable. Because you've been gone a while, I am now double what I used to cost. So your nervous system is going to dysregulate again. So we went through it, talked about it. I said, I hope I see you. I'm going to send you all the email. And I didn't. And that's okay. That's okay. What I know is that for what I am asking her to do, she isn't ready. And that's not a bad thing. It's a combination of things. It's a combination of now she's like even more years into a hardwired dysregulation pattern. But also, like, it is, I can help you. Once you're in the door, I can help you. But if you can't make yourself walk through the door, I can't do anything with that. And that is the cost of overthinking. It cost her not only money, right? Like, it cost her not only being able to work with me because now I was kind of out of her price range, but also, she came to me because there was this other thing that she really wanted to do. And I was like, you imagine if you would have, taken that first step 5 years ago, where you might be today. And I didn't say that in a way of trying to, make her feel bad at all. Like, our journey is our journey, and you're ready when you're ready. Although I will say we think we need to feel a lot more ready than we do. But like I wasn't telling her that to be mean. I was telling her because I wanted her to see what her overthinking and her dysregulation was costing her. It was costing her her happiness. It was costing her her serenity. It was costing her her dreams. Right? Another 3 or 4 years had passed. And I don't want that for anyone. I want everyone to just be able to take that first step. And then I'm like, I will take you from there. But overthinking doesn't have to define you. Okay? If this is you, I want you to think about, what do I need to do so that I am not only losing years or time, but also I am not further hardwiring this pattern that is the thing that's keeping me stuck. What do I need to do differently? And then you just need to have that moment where you make the decision from your regulated nervous system and you take the first step. The first step will create that momentum, and then you're on your way. If you want my help, like I said before, there's the Mastering Calm AF, where you're learning about your nervous system and you're able to access me for that personalized support. I have the course, and then I have one-on-one coaching. And this is my high-level tailored support for those of you who want just that access to me in those moments where you're like, I'm starting to overthink, help. So all of the links for the application for one-on-one coaching, the link for Mastering Calm AF, it's all in the show notes. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. You can send me a DM. If you're not following me over there, make sure you follow me. I like to post in the stories a lot. But my Instagram handle is KristenFinch10. All right, no more overthinking, yeah? We're just going to regulate first, nervous system first, make a decision, take an action, and go from there. Overthinking is not doing what you think it's doing. All right? It's time to stop. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. And before you go, one more thing. So as you know, I am slightly obsessed with helping as many humans tap into their calm AFness as possible. So if this podcast has helped you, would you please leave a review, make sure you're subscribed, and share it with your friends. Also, make sure you head on over to KristenFinch.com to see how you can work with me. You can sign up for my emails and get any other goodies I have available. Until next week, I love you so much. I am so grateful that you're here. I'll see you next time.